Hello and welcome back to today's live level up conversation. Whether you're tuning in live or catching me on the replay, I am so thrilled to have you here with us. Happy Thursday. Let's dive right in.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun. Market update. Speed round. Award-winning financial pro. And now, get ready. I present to you Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, friends. It is such a great time to be here with you. Can you believe we're going to be in June next week? Craziness. Time is flying so fast. Hello, friends. I'm Winnie Sun, your host and award-winning financial pro, Forbes contributor, and a CNBC council member. And I'm thrilled to be here with you. We're streaming live on about a half a dozen different social media platforms. So jump in, say hello. I would love to hear from you. So come on in and introduce yourself in comments so we can see. I already want to say a huge welcome, of course, to Vicky Garvey joining us on YouTube Live today. And Joshua, CrossX Fighter, is joining us on YouTube Live as well. What a treat to have everyone here. Our busy days. A lot of friends joining us on all the different platforms. So great to be here with you. Let's start and tell you how the market closed. Kind of an interesting day. To be honest with you, I was thinking that today might be a continuation of the last 4 days and it would be negative yet again. But fortunately, we have a little bit of positive news today. The Dow closed down 35 points. But, and this is a big but, the NASDAQ is up 213 points and the S&P 500 also finished in the positive, up 36 points. Now, we don't have a conclusion yet to the debt ceiling rise and the default that's upcoming on June 1st, but I think we're really close. I have a good feeling. Hopefully by tomorrow we'll have some news. Let's fingers crossed, right? But here's some news that isn't great, but I think you should know about anyways. So when it comes to US, here in the United States, our credit rating, that's really key. If you've ever watched the show Game of Thrones, they always say, one family always pays its debts, right? And that's key because you want a really strong credit rating. Well, the United States used to have a pretty strong credit rating, but that might change because one of the credit ratings that rates, stability and gives you a, good bill of health, whether AAA, single A, double B, whatever. Well, that's called Fitch. And Fitch is now warning, it's a credit rating agency, has issued a warning about the potential risk to United States' perfect credit rating due to this deadlock situation going on in Washington, D.C. And so this ongoing debt ceiling debate is really not a good thing. In fact, they're placing the top-ranked U.S. credit rating on watch negative. Not good. Reflecting sort of the uncertainty surrounding whether or not the debt ceiling negotiations will come to a conclusion, as I don't know, this seems so historical where we literally have two political parties that can't come together to raise the debt ceiling to get us through this very challenging time to be able to make that June 1st deadline so that, people can get paid and life can continue on and the U.S. can continue to hold on to its very strong credit rating. Now, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has also warned that the U.S. may be unable to meet its financial obligations. June 1st is next week, my friends. I think it's actually Thursday, which could result in an unprecedented fall with severe consequences, both domestically and globally. So I've been reading a lot of news about this, of course, reading analysts, people consistently are thinking that this is going to happen. We'll be able to increase the debt ceiling and we can just move on. But there's been a lot of negative talk just in the last 24 hours. So hopefully this just get resolved. But Fitch, as you know, is one of the top 3 credit rating agencies along with Moody's and S&P. And they place, well, the U.S. traditionally has been a AAA rating. Now it's on rating watch negative, which is not good. But anyhow, let's not worry yet. Let's see what happens tomorrow, and hopefully we get some news by tomorrow. Hopefully before Monday comes around. But on a positive, we get to say hello and welcome to Sadiq, who has jumped in. Welcome to the show, Sadiq. It's great to see you here. I hope that you're having a wonderful Thursday as we go into June next week. But speaking of other news, because there are some more business news that should be on your radar. And this is this. I don't know about you, but I used to go to DreamWorks Animation's campus here in Glendale, Southern California quite often. I was actually helping a lot of the employees back in the day when they had company stock, making decisions, consulting, and whatnot. Well, if you've ever been to one of these big tech companies, or you've heard, or you have a friend, or you visited, or you've read the news, you've probably heard about Google and Apple. And actually, I've been to Facebook's campus. I remember walking through, and it literally felt like I was walking through downtown Disney. And there were restaurants and sushi restaurants, and there was even a bakery selling cupcakes and a dry cleaner on site. And this was actually on campus for the employees to be able to navigate and enjoy while they were working. Well, so people would always say like, oh, wouldn't it be great to work at Disney? Wouldn't it be great to work at Apple or Google or one of these like nice tech companies with all these perks? Well, believe it or not, now that the pandemic has started, continues on, and inflation, and now like the US debt crisis, and talk about recession, even that's starting to change. In fact, tech companies are getting rid of not only some of these free lunch benefits, but now they're even thinking about going after the 401k and healthcare, believe it or not. So tech companies are definitely cutting back on perks and benefits due to an economic slowdown, triggering a sort of an identity crisis amongst tech workers. So companies such as we just mentioned, like, Facebook, Meta, Twitter, Google, they've actually reduced or eliminated many of their office perks, including these on-site cafes that I got to enjoy a couple times, free lunches, snacks, and other amenities. And so, what does that tell you? Things are definitely changing. I think part of this also has to do with the fact that, of course, less employees are now working on campus. Many of them are still working from home or sort of a hybrid experience. The tech sector has dropped a significant amount of employees. In fact, they've had cuts in the neighborhood of like 200,000 jobs lost since the beginning of this year, 2023. This is according to a report that came from a website called layoffs.fyi. Tech companies are preparing for sort of prolonged period of slowing demand, capital investment. And so many of them now are considering not just cuts, but longer term cuts to these employee benefits. So we'll see how that goes. But what an interesting time, right? Because these are what they've always called in the past sort of like invisible wages. So they say employee perks. You got really excited because maybe your company gave you free meals all day long, or gave you free Starbucks all day long. These are like things that employees really enjoy. But a survey of college seniors indicated that 401k matches, financial planning assistance, and student loan repayment programs were actually still very important perks for potential employees, those who are still in college and looking for their first jobs. So who knows if these things will come back, but I think it's going to take some time, given that many of these companies have had to make very difficult decisions and had to reduce expenses. So this was a recent story that came out of Business Insider, in case you didn't see it. I just thought, it's very telling that yes, although, may not be the most difficult thing to find a job, but at these top tier companies, even they're suffering. So it's not just the mom and pops and the smaller neighborhood companies, a lot of people making cuts. And so I think this is something we need to be mindful and paying attention to. What does this mean for the broader theme of the US economy? All right, let's segue over, right? I know Becky's saying it's a shame. I agree. I think it's a shame. It's too bad. But you know what? Those were really expensive costs. And I think if it means that you can keep more employees and you can pay them fairly, then maybe, everybody will be okay with it. I don't know. Hopefully that's the case. All right. So my next story, though, is something that we've talked about in past weeks, but it's something that's right now. and that is Netflix is cracking down on password sharing. Now, if you have Netflix and you've been sharing your password, you're probably not alone because this was such a big issue. In fact, Netflix has been making it clear that password sharing is no longer allowed, but the extent to which Netflix will enforce this new rule still is sort of uncertain. But despite Netflix saying they're going to be blocking users who stream from outside of their homes, they really haven't committed to a timeline for cutting people off. So currently, account owners, if you have Netflix, you're getting warnings already about not sharing your password, and you're being given options to address this issue. But they don't like it and they know it's happening, and you're going to have to stop. So these measures are being rolled out here in the United States after months of them testing in select markets. But it's important to know that it's not a full blown crackdown just yet. But technically, it's still possible, but I absolutely would recommend you stop doing it because it's going to start to be more and more inconvenient to do so. In fact, in Netflix's new term of service agreement, password sharing with individuals outside of your household is not just against the rules, but you can only do it if you pay extra. So if your child is away for college, for example, they're going to have to be expected to have their own account or be part of this thing called a paid sharing plan. So even though you're the same household, your child's going off to college, that's going to cost extra. So these paid sharing plans are going to cost $8 per month here in the United States, which will allow us to add like up to 2 additional users on these premium plans. So yeah. So to detect this, how are they going to find out, right? You might say, like, can they really do that? And in fact, they can. So Netflix is going to use a combination of different factors, including IP addresses, device IDs, and they're going to be able to track all your activity. So we'll see how this goes, but I wanted to make sure this was on your radar so you definitely, don't get impacted negatively from this. And for those, if you are sharing, make sure you have a conversation with those who you are sharing with so they don't have a bad experience as well. Thank you so much for this news coming out of PC World. Really help appreciate that report. Okay. And of course, you know, we gotta and I have one more story, and of course it's a positive because I want to share one with you. So I want to give a huge congratulations to my incredible creative director, Curtis Peak. He graduated this week. I am so excited for him. Our entire team is so proud of him. And if you don't know him, because we got to give it up for Curtis. He's an incredible human being. I'm so grateful to get a chance to work with him day in, day out. But anyhow, just want to take that moment to share that with you. And of course, share this other news because if you didn't know already, next week is, lo and behold, National Donut Day is next week. In fact, it's next Friday, June 2nd. And here's what I will say. This actually coincides with Curtis's news as well as Donut Day and everything in between. Krispy Kreme is offering free donuts to congratulate graduates. So if you have a high school graduate, if you have a college graduate of class of 2023, or if you have an 8th grader like that I have, that's the size of a high schooler and a college student, then you could probably participate in this as well. In fact, Krispy Kreme's is going to offer they're going to offer free donuts. They're actually going to give you a free original glazed dozen of their Krispy Kreme donuts and what they call a diploma box. How cute is that? I feel like I need to go and get this just to see what this diploma box is. But this is, so this is at most locations. No purchase is necessary. And all you need to do to get this is to go either in your cap and gown. I don't know. I don't think many people want to go to Krispy Kreme's in your cap and gown. Maybe you will want to. Or your 2023 swag, that's okay too. Or with your student ID, that'll work too. Now, this promotion started this week on May 24th and is available while supplies last. So if you have a graduate, now you know something pretty cool. Each graduate is limited to 1 free dozen donuts, so they can have one themselves and they can share it with everybody else, right? That says there. there as well. This is the fourth year that Krispy Kreme has done this grad day promotion, fourth consecutive year, which began, I guess, May of 2020. So that's pretty cool. So thank you so much, Krispy Kreme, for doing that. That sounds like a lot of fun. Vicky, I don't know if they have this on your side of the pond, but I mean, there's always an excuse to have donuts, right? And graduating sounds like a pretty good one with that. That's pretty cool. Well, thank you so much, my friends, for watching. And I gotta tell you, tomorrow I'm really excited. We're coming back for In the Loop. Greg and I are gonna throw a whole bunch of fun stories your way, and I'm gonna tell you, of course, what to watch as we go into June. So that it'll be a fun show. So hopefully you can join us again tomorrow. Tomorrow will be 10 a.m. Pacific. Which is 1 p.m. Eastern, and anywhere else that you'll be. We hope sincerely that you will join us. And I want to just thank you so much for being here and being here with me, watching, supporting our show, giving a shout out to one and only Curtis Peak as well. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, give us a like and subscribe. I truly would be grateful for it. And of course, don't forget, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, Samsung, Roku, and actually many, many more streaming platforms. We just signed on another one. I'm going to have to continue to add to the list, but it's pretty much where you want to see, right? And don't forget to check out Yes Factor with Winnie Sun, which is on Apple Podcasts and the LinkedIn Podcast Network. Thank you so much, my friends, for your support, and I can't wait to see you again tomorrow. Take care now.